Hello and a very warm welcome. This is the news on NTR International. My name is Justin Bemuye, and here are the top stories. World Health Organization halts clinical trials for use of hydroxychloroquine in treatment of COVID-19 patients. Medical experts urge Nigerians not to lose sight of other childhood killer diseases amidst battle against COVID-19. Plus, National Assembly supports the presidential decision of forensic audit of Niger Delta Development Commission. And thank you very much for joining us. Now let's begin with an update on global COVID-19 issues, where many countries in Europe have begun opening their borders as governments work towards an end to border controls. And these and other developments and global updates on COVID-19 by Onenge Fineface.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) Monday reported 229 new cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria. Our breakdown indicates that Lagos has the highest figure of 90 cases, followed closely by Katsina, Imo, Kano, FCT and Plateau states. Oyo, Gombe, Osun, Anambra and Bayelsa states have the lowest number of cases. There are now 8,068 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nigeria, with 2,311 discharged and 233 deaths. According to the latest data by the Johns Hopkins University and Africa Center for Disease Control on COVID-19, in Africa, total confirmed cases on the continent is 115,892. Number of deaths, 3,479, while recoveries stand at 46,553. Global COVID-19 figures as at 6 p.m. local time stands at 5,634,586 confirmed cases, 2,402,240 recoveries, and 349,184 deaths. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization says it is temporarily halting clinical trials for the use of hydroxychloroquine to treat COVID-19 patients over published concerns that the drug may do more harm than good. In other reports, a coronavirus cluster has been detected on a freight ship berthed in the Australian west coast port of Fremantle. 6 of 48 crew members from the Al Kuwait tested positive for the virus 4 days after the livestock carrier arrived from the United Arab Emirates. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia plans to revise curfew times this week and lift it entirely across the kingdom, with the exception of the holy city of Mecca starting June 21. And in Europe, many countries have already begun opening their borders, including Germany and Luxembourg, as governments are working towards an end to border controls as the outbreak eases across many parts of the continent. Europe effectively shut its internal border area known as Schengen at the start of the outbreak, but a number of countries are calling for the return of free movement as soon as possible. Onenge Fineface, NTA News.
Now, the rising paradox of infectious frontline health care workers from COVID-19 has continued to engage relevant institutions from materials, support and insurance cover as professional health bodies move to discover antidote for the defeat of the global coronavirus pandemic. The latest shoulder the frontline health workers is leveraging on is the traditional institution. And Abubakar Usman Akwanga brings us the report.
To this committee, by the grace of God, we are going to give 100%.
So we have a budget of about 5 billion behind us. And what do we want to do with these budgets? First of all, we want to do insurance coverage for all health workers.
We know that material resources may matter, but human resources, the knowledge, and then the goodwill of the people also matters.
And now still talking health, as Nigeria continues to battle with the coronavirus pandemic, Nigerians have been urged not to lose sight of the harmful effects of measles and other childhood killer diseases. Some medical experts expressed this view at a media orientation meeting for anti-measles campaign held in Owerri, the Imo State capital. Kingsley Ononiwo reports that although the federal and state governments have continued to make concerted efforts towards stamping out the dreaded COVID-19, it is also imperative to pay attention to other childhood killer diseases like measles in order to preserve the health of the future generation. It is in keeping with this that UNICEF, in collaboration with the National Primary Health Care Development Agency and National Orientation Agency, organized a one-day media orientation on the campaign against measles. The focus is to mobilize members of the fourth estate of the realm on the need to create the needed awareness towards sensitizing mothers to participate in the continuous immunization exercise for children against measles and other childhood killer diseases.
So we want the media to help in propagating this message that in spite of COVID-19 pandemic that had made people to lock themselves up, that there is still need for mothers and other caregivers to go to the primary health centers to assess immunization for their child who have gotten up to a certain age, because these vaccines are given at a certain age. If they don't assess this vaccination, it will have a very big negative impact on the child when he grows.
The issue of immunization of children remains a routine thing at the primary health care centers situated all over our communities, all over our local government area.
Imo State Immunization Officer Dr. Chibuzo Okoroama described measles as a highly infectious viral disease caused by the measles virus, which requires all hands on deck to be eliminated. An understanding on regular joint media and other stakeholder sensitization of the public and continuous immunization program against measles was reached at the end of the meeting. From health now to security, where the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has commended air officers and men of the Nigerian Air Force for their unwavering commitment to nib in the bud activities of insurgents that have bedeviled the northeast region of the country in the past. Simon Archer reports that the Chief of Air Staff stated these at the Salah lunch organized to honor officers of 153 Base Service Group Yola in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr.
The Eid al-Fitr luncheon, unlike in the past, was commemorated in observance with COVID-19 protocol so as to prevent any unforeseen contingencies in cognizance with the global fight against coronavirus pandemic.
Before anyone could gain access into the operation area of the Nigerian Air Force Base Yola, where the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by the Commander 153 Base Services Group Yola, Air Commodore Mohammed Yusuf, as he commemorates the Eid al-Fitr Salah celebration with officers and men who could not mark the occasion with their family. One must strictly adhere to the safety measures put in place by government.
We want to assure the Chief of the Air Staff that we are committed to ensuring our country is safe and our people can go about their normal lives.
Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintri of Adamawa State, also represented by his Chief of Staff, Professor Maxwell Gidado, says the fight against COVID-19 would not have been successful without the help of the Nigerian Air Force in conveying blood samples of suspected cases to Abuja for tests during the lockdown in the state.
The Adamawa State government is also appreciative of the role the Nigerian Air Force, particularly Air Force Base Yola, have been playing in assisting the state in the fight against this dreaded COVID-19.
Aside from sumptuous meals, guests were also treated with cultural dances to spice up the Eid al-Fitr celebration. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
Reactions have continued to trail the recent signing of the Executive Order 10 by President Muhammadu Buhari, which granted financial autonomy to states' legislature and judiciary. Dotun Oguyemi reports that political and social analysts view the development as key to strengthening the nation's democracy.
In a swift reaction to the signing of the order, the Conference of Speakers of State Legislature in Nigeria described the approval by President Muhammadu Buhari as the best-seller gift, according to a statement by the Chairman, Conference of Speakers and Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa. Honorable Jude Idimogu is a member of the Lagos Assembly. He, like his other colleagues, are happy with the move.
Actually, when we talk about separation of power, we should do it to the letter, in the sense that it's not just separation of power, mere talking about it. Financially, if you want it to be effective, financial autonomy is necessary.
Political analysts are also of the opinion that the move will enable each arm of government to be independent and better accountable.
People have clamored for this for so long, but the reality is that we've had about 21 years of unbroken democracy. And this has not been done off and now. The problem has persisted for so long. And so, I mean, it's a wonderful thing that the president has realized that this ought to be done.
I also pray that the willpower to sustain this particular executive order, that God should be sustained, so that we will have more vibrant governance in the state because they are more near to the people.
According to the order, all states of the Federation shall include the allocations of the two arms of government in the appropriation laws. Failure to release such allocations, however, authorizes the deduction from source.
From the legislature now comes a report that the House of Representatives says the National Assembly fully supports the presidential decision to carry out a forensic audit of the operations of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) from 2001 to 2019. Chairman of the House Committee on NDDC, Representative Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, while briefing newsmen, says the National Assembly, in line with constitutional provisions, will also go ahead with investigations of alleged financial malfeasance by the Interim Management Committee (IMC) of the NDDC. The committee chairman says the National Assembly will not succumb to alleged blackmail and intimidation orchestrated by the IMC.
All these accusations are coming because the National Assembly decided to institute a probe after calls and different petitions. And blackmail threats had been used as a weapon to stop the National Assembly. That has not worked. Then the latest one is this issue of sheer blackmail. We have told them, if you have any document, please release such documents, or better still, rather than unnecessary throwing of tantrums, approach the relevant security and anti-corruption agencies. But the National Assembly will not be deterred from doing its work. We owe our loyalty to the Nigerian people. And as a committee, we owe our loyalty to the people of the Niger Delta.
Representative Tunji Ojo pointed out that all correspondences between the House and NDDC on budget and other official matters are efficiently documented to ensure transparency and accountability. Nigerians see the seamless access to petroleum products in spite of the lockdown to curb the dreaded COVID-19 spread as a pointer to a strong capacity for the nation's economic revival after the coronavirus pandemic. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji was on the streets of Abuja, where motorists commended government for ensuring that fuel supply is unhindered.
A visit to major filling stations in the Federal Capital Territory reveals an ease to get petrol by motorists.
It's very easy. Fuel anywhere, you get it very easy without queue. Okay. So we thank the government and the way things are getting easier.
Oh my God, I love Nigeria so much. In fact, I can't even get out of this country. You know why? Because the fuel here is perfect, it's sharp.
Even with the lockdown, we were lucky enough that the filling stations continued working. So fuel has not really been a problem for us.
This development, an oil dealer attributes to effective administrative measures, which he commends government for.
For a very long time, since the inception of this government, we've not been having all that excruciating scarcity that make people to buy in panic way and begin to keep.
The Department of Petroleum Resources further assures that the tempo will be sustained in spite of the lockdown.
I want to urge the public not to do any panic buying. Whether it's diesel, whether it's PMS, they should not do any panic buying. We have the product available on ground. We go around to make sure that the product are available and the sales is ongoing smoothly without any hints.
Many filling stations in the nation's capital were seen dispensing at the approved pump price. Abdullahi Suleiman Yaji, NTA News.
Now let's talk business, as post-COVID-19 survival of most small businesses will depend largely on application of innovation by the owners. Abolade Salami, who interacted with some small business operators, reports on plans along these lines.
Economies strive on small and medium-scale enterprises, not only in terms of job creation, but economic diversification and revenue generation accruing from these businesses. Its huge impact on Nigeria's gross domestic product is estimated at about 47.8%, with about 37.1 million MSMEs in the country. These statistics, however, attest to the relevance of the sector.
Again, we're seeing a shift from routine or conventional brick and mortar businesses to virtual interface between business and customers. So that would also lead to some businesses becoming completely unviable. So I think in the first place, it takes some time for global consumption and global demand to recover.
Sunday Chukwu, a food vendor like other entrepreneurs, says in the last couple of months, he's been confronted with the challenge of drastic drop in revenue due to the coronavirus pandemic. But this challenge, he said, has provided an opportunity for him to come up with innovations on how to grow his business post-COVID-19.
I may God help us, because as I did like this, if not because interstate motor no they run, if I don't go my village, go they do farm work. But I know that by the grace of God, God will still help us. Learn many things, because even how to manage things, especially by managing things, because like before, if I say food finish, I will go and drink. But ever since this thing started, everybody have another sense.
While the situation requires more efforts on the part of Sunday towards maximizing profits, Kalu Mabel Tese described the coronavirus pandemic as a clog in the wheel of progress.
The sales, ever since we opened, after the relaxing, it's nothing to write home about. You can come out in a week, you cannot boast of 2,000, 3,000. You won't even sell even a pin.
Although small and medium-scale businesses are gradually picking up following the ease in the lockdown, most entrepreneurs say a new approach will be infused into the scheme of things in order to survive the times. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're watching the news on Inter International. We will take a break now. More reports in a short while. Don't go away.
Make your home the place to be with GoTV's super cool kids channels.
That sounds fun.
From funky friends that'll keep even the little ones busy.
All right, everybody, let's do this!
To learn as you watch educational shows for curious young minds.
You can do some amazing things.
There's plenty for everyone. Tune in to our kids shows and get everything you need to keep the kids entertained and learning the fun way. GoTV, live it, love it.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, in the spirit of Eid al-Fitr, marking the end of the fasting in the year 2020, equivalent to the Islamic calendar 1441, Salihu Abdullah's visit to a Muslim home further showcased this year's celebration as unique amidst the coronavirus pandemic, which has dramatically altered lifestyle globally.
February 27 is a day etched in Nigeria's history for obvious reasons.
One, that forced the hand of the Nigerian government to impose a total lockdown, to its easing, and now to the ban on interstate movement across the country, all as a result of COVID-19. Nigerians are faced with this reality that is seemingly unpredictable, even as Muslim Ummah mark Eid al-Fitr. In search of a Muslim home, I visited Dawaki, one of the satellite communities in the Federal Capital Territory. As at the time of my visit, the street was still asleep. After the routine hygiene protocol, I was welcomed to this humble family of 5. The ambience of a visitor to the home obviously woke up Zahir and Zinat as they proceeded to join their uncle in performing their morning obligatory duty. From there, it is breakfast. For the family of Akim Olakpade, living a private life has become dramatic.
Food is now indoor from kitchen, so it hasn't been, it has really been a headache, and I think I need to give it to their teachers. They're really trying. You just have to start cooking like up to 7 times, 6 times, because after cooking this, Mommy, I want this, Mommy, not this, Mommy, I want that.
Children, playground, adults play, just kind of fun game. We really miss that game. Usually be routine. And after then, you can resort back to different parks in Abuja and have outing experience like. So everything is miss out.
Fortunately, after several hours, the NTA crew were the only guests entertained in this home and the compound housing 10 flats. To this family and others, there is a lot to talk about. The before, during, and even after the coronavirus.
It is being the fasting that you fasted, and one agenda, common agenda for everybody is to pray for the world, to pray for the country, for God to have intervention and heal the world, because everybody is facing one particular pandemic that is unknown, is unseen.
Even our neighbors, though, they sometimes don't even want to come close to us or even make their children come to our own house. We the same thing, It has not been easy, but we have to cope because of the present situation at hand.
I pray Allah make this pandemic come to an end as sooner as it could.
The anthem has become, "Oh God, save us." And so I joined to make a wish that God Almighty should bring to an end the coronavirus pandemic so that the family of Akim Olakpade and indeed Nigerians will resume their normal lives. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi, NTA News.
We now move to Kebbi State, where the government has received another set of 83 Almajiri deported to the state by Kano State government. The Commissioner for Health and Chairman, State COVID-19 Task Force, Jafar Mohammed, who received the deportees, described the effort as a giant stride to curtail the spread of COVID-19 in Northwest region. Usman Abdullahi Shehu has more.
It could be recalled that the Kano State government has deported 61 Almajiri back to their state of origin, Kebbi State, recently. Shortly after, another batch of 83 Almajiri of Kebbi State origin have been sent back to the state by Kano State government. The 83 children come from 7 local governments of Kebbi State, comprising of 28 from Mayama local government, 18 from Dundee local government, 13 from Argungu, 10 from Birnin Kebbi and Kalgo local government each, and equally 1 each from Yauri and Jiga local governments. Similarly, among the 83 returnees, a 7-year-old Munkela is from Niger Republic. The chairman Kebbi State COVID-19 Task Force, Jafar Mohammed, affirmed that the deportees have been isolated for a period of 2 weeks and certified negative of COVID-19 in Kano State before sending them back to their home state. He said the Nigerian will be in custody of the state government until investigation is completed.
He cannot be able to express more clearly, but he will be within the custody of Kebbi State. We will be able to find out where he belongs properly. We will communicate with Kano State government with a view of understanding his right hometown so that we will be able to take him to his parents.
Some of the deportees affirmed that they have received some medical tests and kept at isolation centers for about 3 weeks in Kano before sending them back to the state capital. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with Oba Oladuni Oyewumi Ajagungbade III, the Shehu of Ogbomosho, as he turns 94 on May 27, 2020.
Special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. President Buhari describes the utmost 5-decade reign of the monarch as having witnessed peace, prosperity and development with the natives and settlers alike in Ogbomosho. Adding that the collaboration governments at both state and national levels have enjoined from the traditional ruler is invaluable. The president prayed for continued good health, sound mind and longevity for Oba Oyewumi.
Similarly, President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with elder statesman, Niger Delta leader and former Minister of Information, Chief Edwin Kiagbodo Clark, as he turns 93. The president gives glory to God for the gift of long life and sound mind bestowed on Chief Clark, noting that he continues to command the respect and admiration of Nigerians from all walks of life. President Buhari urges the non-Nigerian to continue to work for the cohesion and progress of the country he has served to the best of his ability for many decades. And President Muhammadu Buhari condoles with the government and people of Ogun State, as well as the family of Alhaji Leadi Orunsholu, the chief imam of Egbaland, who passed away Tuesday, May 26, 2020, aged 98. The president salutes the life of piety and utmost submission to the will of Almighty Allah lived by the departed, who was also President General of League of Imams and Alfaz in Ogun State. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President, Media and Publicity, President Buhari stated that the deceased lived a long and qualitative life devoted to the service of Allah. And this is where the news ends on NTA International. Thank you very much for being a part of it. My name is Justin Bemunyi.